Well, this is what we used to refer to as the old vegetable garden, and just to my right is the new barn that you may have seen the conversion videos on. This time in the afternoon it's a very shady and peaceful spot. This herbaceous border to my left is a late summer herbaceous border. We have had spring flowering bulbs in there in February and March. It was a blaze of yellow, but right now it's in a very peaceful and still developing state. Let's go and have a little closer look. Well, this border, as you can see, has a mixed planting in it, some wildflowers such as this campion and cow parsley that we've just shown you in the meadow, but also some herbaceous geraniums, which, growing really nicely in this dappled shade, does extend their season and they'll flower slightly later. But the dominant planting in here is these daisies, which won't do anything until the end of July or August. There's quite a few different varieties in here. Also, we've got other mixed plantings which are really at this time of year being just about overtaken by this because it's such a thug. If you're going to plant late flowering large daisies, sunflower like plants, they do tend to spread out quite aggressively. They're easy enough to thin out, and as they get closer to the edge like this, or if they are thugging over other plants, then just by pulling them up you effectively get a brand new plant, and that will pot on and be given to friends, or if there's just too much of it, quite easily go on the compost heap once it's dehydrated. But these are very vigorous plants, and in a border like this where we've got the space, that's fine. But if you are looking at a smaller area, you may want to look at planting these on the edges of some hard landscaping, such as a brick edge or some paving, so they don't overrun the rest of the border just too quickly. Now at the back of this border we've got a planting of some roses, Rosa rugosa edging roses, which are just giving it that bit of privacy, particularly over the winter months when the hedge behind has very little foliage on it. But a lot of these have had a really quite hard cutback this spring to tidy them up and try and get more confluent growth. But I should have gone a little more aggressive with them. As here in this example you can see there's still quite a bit of bare stem towards the base, but I think as the herbaceous in front of it grow up, that's just going to fill in and layer quite nicely. Gives us an opportunity to get in there and start pulling some of this perennial weed that's just always constantly coming under that hedge and through into this border. But by and large it takes care of itself because the planting is so dense in here. It does tend to mug nettles and cow parsley to a degree, and also the ground elder, which is problematic in this border at this time of year with this heavy herbaceous growth coming up to around 3 foot. It really doesn't get much of a look in.